I want to bring in my next guest. We were going to talk to her about her winning the Democratic primary in Buffalo, Inda Walton. If she wins the general election in November, she'd be the first socialist mayor of a major U.S. city since 1960. I want to get her thoughts on what we're seeing here in Georgetown, Texas, the mobilization going on, because the reality, India, the way you won, the way you beat an incumbent African American mayor there in Buffalo, who was so upset that you ran, he's now running as an independent in the general, is that you organized. And I keep saying this, and I keep telling people constantly, look, you can change things in this country if you organize and mobilize. That's how many folks have come into office.
Yeah, am I supposed to talk now?
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. So that's exactly what we did. We organized. I am an organizer, and after the murder of George Floyd last summer, we saw uprisings and young people, old, black, white, in the streets really protesting injustices. And the response we got from our city government was nothing. And we decided to really turn that protest energy into political power. And that's what we've been able to do here in Buffalo. My opponent is not running as an independent. He's running a write-in campaign. So he's really now a long shot candidate, and all signs point to me being able to bring it over the finish line in November. I'm so excited about it.
When you look at what's happening here in Georgetown, folks, if y'all can in the studio, give me a shot of the stage. We'll talk over that. This is about the Poor People's Campaign with a lot of local organizations. Ella Baker, one of our greatest organizers, she always talked about local. And it gets frustrating to me when I hear people complain about politics and politicians, but then they don't understand that the way you beat people is if you go out and get more votes than they got, and that's how you throw them out.
Yeah, politics is a numbers game, right? And I think that especially in local politics, what's missing from that is that ground game. We had a really strong field campaign. We were out knocking doors, having those one-on-one conversations. I think that now more than ever, people want leaders and elected officials that they can relate to, that they see in the grocery store, who they feel are accessible and who are just like them. And that is what our campaign represents. And that is why we won the primary. We defeated a 16-year incumbent. He was asleep at the wheel because he believed that, he didn't have to work for the vote. So we worked hard for the vote. We knocked on the doors. We'll do the same thing going into November. And I think that we'll win again. And I think that, what's going on right now is this moral resurrection, this moral revival is taking it back to the message of Martin Luther King, and that democratic socialist label is being used against me now, but that's what the people want. We want affordable housing. We want universal health care. We want a basic standard of quality life, and we feel that all people are deserving of that.
And so talk about that. I mean, you say you're a socialist. What does that actually mean? Because obviously in this country, when Republicans label anybody a Democrat or socialist, but what does that mean?
Being a democratic socialist means that I put people first, right? When the segment began, you talked about me being potentially the first socialist mayor of a city in 60 years. Well, the last socialist mayor of a major metropolitan area was called a sewer socialist. And they used that again as a term that was supposed to be disparaging, but it was because they provided indoor plumbing and, cleaned up the waterways. And that's what our platform and our policies are centered around, is around uplifting people. It's about co-governance. It's about putting resources where they matter, and that is into the pockets and of working class people, into communities and into neighborhoods, to lift the standard of living for all Buffalonians. And hopefully this wave will continue, and we'll see city by city really stop making rich people richer and stop prioritizing those that already have more than enough and really begin to put resources where it matters.
Questions from my panel. Teresa Lundy, I'll start with you for Inda Walton.
Hi, India. Well, congratulations again. So I know there has been and I think you just explained it very well about the difference between socialism and the democratic process, and being a Democrat. So what changes do you plan on making than your counterpart that, was the incumbent?
That is one of my favorite questions. I often say I think that our current mayor has done the best that he knows how to do. And at a certain point, we have to stop doing the same thing and expecting different results. He is a person that's very corporate and developer friendly, large developer friendly. His write-in campaign right now is being funded by Republicans, members of the far right, and corporations. And I think that what we're going to do is the opposite of that. There are no patronage positions in my administration. We are going to put well-qualified experts into position to make the changes that we really want and have wanted in Buffalo for a long time. And we are going to usher in a new era of progressive leadership that includes everyone. No person in this city will be insignificant in my administration.
Mustafa Santiago Ali, your question, Walton.
Sister Walton, thank you so much for what you're doing. I got family in Buffalo, so I know that they're going to support you. There are literally trillions of dollars that are being discussed in relationship to infrastructure. When those dollars begin to make it through New York State and to Buffalo, how would you utilize those to help uplift people?
One of the things that I'm most excited about as we look toward the investments and infrastructure coming is correcting some of the mistakes that we've made in the past. Just like a lot of other mid-sized cities, we have a scar riding down the middle of Buffalo's east side that's primarily occupied by poor people and people of color, and it's called the Kensington Expressway. All over the country, we've seen these highways be put through neighborhoods that cleave them, that have made horrible health outcomes, increases in asthma and heart disease and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So I'm looking forward to finding a solution to removing the Kensington Expressway in Buffalo and restoring our beautiful parkway with green space and neighborhoods and restoring the fabric of the East Side neighborhood in the city of Buffalo.
Faraji Muhammad.
Ms. Walton, thank you. Congratulations on getting this far in your campaign. I just had a question. I know that you often talk about the disparities that Black and brown communities of Buffalo have been facing. Talk to us a little bit about what are you going to do specifically to help those communities and of course the next generation of those communities.
Yeah, our platform focuses a lot on building alternative structures, right? A lot of times we want to reform the current system, but I know from experience that reforming the current system doesn't go far enough because the current system has been designed to exclude Black and brown people from participation. So we are going to go in and we are going to make sure that we have alternative means to making capital available, to extending flexible financing so that people can get mortgages and become first-time homeowners and really begin to close that racial wealth and home ownership gap. And the way we do that is with resources. When we talk about reimagining public safety, the way that we increase public safety is by providing resources in the form of good jobs and training and a quality education and safe, affordable, stable housing, looking toward the future, jobs and green energy, looking at New York State recently legalizing adult use cannabis and making pathways into that industry that's going to create the next generation of millionaires and really have an eye toward creating not only generational, but community wealth so that people, especially Black and brown people here in Buffalo and poor people and working class people that have been left out out of the systems and processes for so long now have a sense of pride in where we live, and we continue to build from there. And I believe that when the least of us does well, we all do better, and that's what we intend to do as an administration.
Folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.